Hey, what's up, YouTube? Jade up here to talk about the recent comings and goings in the world of wrestling. If you aren't subscribed, go ahead and click that yellow button over there. Thanks. But before I get into that, I have to talk about last night's episode of Impact before I'm chewed out by the many TNA fans. Well, not many, like 2 or 3 TNA fans that are subscribed to my account. Thanks for subscribing. But um, yeah, they chew me out for saying I bash TNA and I don't say positive things and I skip over TNA when it's actually good and I talk about WWE too much. So you know what? I'm going to talk about TNA right now for maybe about a minute. Last night's episode of Impact was a damn good episode. The first hour, pretty good. The second hour, I could have cared less about, but you know what? I don't want to bash and I don't. No, I say what I feel. I say whatever is on my mind. I call it like it, tell it like it is. So, yeah, I'm just gonna say it seemed like the only thing that I'll say that was wrong about the episode, it seemed like they condensed 4 hours into just 2 hours. They could have cut that episode in half and had it, 2 weeks worth of episodes. That's the only problem. But one thing that I will praise, the match between Chris Sabin and AJ Styles to determine, like, in the whole tournament for the No Surrender World Championship match, AJ Styles ends up winning that match, and what was, to me, one of the best matches that I've seen this year, not just in TNA, but the whole world of wrestling, and it was on a free show, so, it wasn't even on a pay-per-view, so, yeah. There you go, TNA fans. Moving on to another TNA-related topic, Angelina Love has been released by TNA. I was going to talk about this earlier, but I was thinking to myself, this must be a fucking joke or something. Somebody's playing April Fools in September, because she's like one of the top knockouts in the company, and it seemed weird to me that they would release her, so I knew it had to be like a big reason behind it. The reason that we're being presented is that her visa expired, so basically she was in the country illegally, or it's like her visa expired or it was about to expire, and TNA couldn't renegotiate her contract, which was about to be upheld. She's let go out of the contract, so she doesn't have one anymore. But like, it was contract renegotiation time, and they couldn't legally sign her and have her under their employment as long as she was like a kid, didn't have a valid visa. But I'm thinking, if your career and your livelihood depend on you having a fucking visa, how can you overlook or forget something like that? Like, did you forget that you were from Canada and you just got so used to the United States you just fucking forgot that you're from Canada? Or you thought like, oh hell, well, it's Canada, nobody's gonna care, like I'm not gonna get deported back to Canada? Like, that shit sounds crazy. But yeah, it does sound crazy, but yeah, that's the reason you got let go. Or another reason she could have been let go, Scott Steiner could have had something to do with it. He did say, we're building like a wall at the wrong border. He was attacking the Canadians, saying we should be separating ourselves from Canada instead of Mexico. So, he could have something to do with it. Who knows? It's possible. Anyway, moving on to the next topic. Nigel McGuinness has agreed in principle to leave Ring of Honor for WWE. Now, what in principle means, basically, he's intended, he wants to go to WWE. His intent is to go to WWE, but now they have to formalize a contract, get all the details lined up, cross the T's and dot the I's and everything. And, yeah, so he hasn't officially signed the contract yet, but he is on his way to doing that. Hopefully, he goes on to WWE and becomes a big star, as big as a star, maybe even bigger than he was in Ring of Honor. He is probably my favorite Ring of Honor wrestler, and if you're looking at me right now like, who the hell is Nigel McGuinness and why should we care about him being signed to WWE, get to know him. There's a picture of him right there. He's not the black guy with the DX hat on, that is me, but yeah, there's Nigel McGuinness to the left of me. I met him at a Ring of Honor show when they came to Detroit in June, I believe it was. And yeah, if a couple of stats about Nigel McGuinness: he's a one-time Ring of Honor champion. He holds the record for the he shares the record with Bryan Danielson, who's also headed to WWE. 38 successful title defenses, and he's second, just behind Samoa Joe, for having the longest Ring of Honor world title reigns, and he held the title for a year and a half. Like, that's crazy. Like, you don't see that in WWE, but yeah, like I said, he's my favorite wrestler in Ring of Honor, and I'm glad that he's coming to WWE. I think he has a bright future. Yeah, that's why I didn't really go crazy over the whole Bryan Danielson signing, because I'm a bigger fan of Nigel McGuinness. I knew this was happening, and I'm glad that it did actually happen. So yeah, give me your thoughts on all of the things that I discussed in this video down in the comment section below. Remember to rate, and the PWTR show will be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully you guys call in. We're gonna discuss everything that I discussed in this video, and we got a lot to talk about, also about Hulk Hogan possibly going to TNA, and he wants to fight Kurt Angle. Hulk Hogan. I'm just gonna reserve my comments for the show tomorrow. Hopefully you guys listen in. Peace out. Oh, I forgot to talk about Jenna Maraska. I'm glad that bitch is out of a job. She was released by TNA. They said it was like they didn't come to an agreement on contract renegotiations or whatever. But yeah, you know what? I'm glad you're out of a fucking job. You thought you can go up against the fans and win. You set up and lied to us, lied about us on MySpace, saying, "Oh, I only had a couple of days to prepare for my match." And yeah, that was a fucking lie when you had a whole month. And if you're in a fucking wrestling company, you're expected to wrestle. Why not train? Why do you wait 2 days before you have a fucking match to train? That's just dumb. And you say, oh, well, you guys should be satisfied. We went out there and we had fun, you know, and that's the only thing that matters, right? No, that's not the only thing that fucking matters. If you have a sucky-ass match, one of the worst matches that I've ever seen on a pay-per-view, that people are paying for, and you say, oh, as long as I have fun, that's the only thing that matters. Bitch, you can go out to that ring and blow bubbles and pop bubblegum in the middle of the ring, and you can think that's fun. You can have fun doing that, but is somebody going to have fun watching you do that? No, they're not. So, yeah, I'm glad you're out of a job. You thought you could go up against the fans and live to see another day. Well, you did live to see another day, but you're seeing that other day from the unemployment line. So, yeah, deuces to you, Jenna Maraska. You can go into tricking or the porn industry or something, you know. It's something that you're useful at. So, yeah, peace out to you.